Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian Kingsbury. Today we're going to do another Brian Reads the News segment. This one coming to us from movieweb.com. It's titled Star Trek 10 Facts About Spock You Probably Didn't Know or Forgot. Ever since the original series debuted in the 60s, Star Trek has been one of the most beloved and passionately followed sci-fi franchises in the world. It's come a long way since its humble roots and has burgeoned into a full-out media franchise encompassing movies, animated shows, comics, toys, and all kinds of other merchandise. Over its history, the franchise has featured a stunning array of characters, including everything from humans to robots, androids, and a wide range of fascinating alien races. Among those races, Vulcans are particularly close to the hearts of Trekkies everywhere, and it's obvious why. As the most famous among them, Spock has been a fan favorite since the beginning and remains one of the most recognizable and beloved characters from it. His appeal comes from his inherently fascinating attributes and character arcs. Throughout Spock's history on Star Trek, there are many weird and wonderful facts about him that added to his overall allure. While hardcore Trekkies might know some of these, here are 10 facts about Spock that aren't well known by most people. Fact number 10. Spock was almost cut from the pilot. Created by Gene Roddenberry back in 1966 when the original and now iconic Star Trek TV series first aired, it was uncertain how all the legendary characters were going to be received by audiences. Back then, when the TV industry and society in general were a lot more conservative, NBC executives were afraid Spock's pointy ears, unique eyebrows, and overall strange appearance might make him look too satanic. Thankfully, the show's producer Oscar Katz helped convince them to keep the character as envisioned, with his satanic ears and all. Despite allowing it, early publicity shots for the show airbrushed his pointed ears and weirdly shaped eyebrows out just to be on the safe side. Now that the character is so well loved, it's hard to imagine that he almost wasn't included at all. Fact number 9. Spock almost lost his ears. Those same ears that were so contentious became iconic, although Leonard Nimoy himself, who immortalized the role for decades, wasn't thrilled about them. He reportedly didn't like having to sit through the process of attaching them each time. The process took a lot longer back then, since prosthetics weren't as advanced as they are now, and CGI was far from being a thing. The story goes that since Nimoy hated the process so much in the beginning, one of the producers told him if he still didn't like them after a while, by episode 10 or 12, they could write it into the script that Spock gets an ear job. If it happened, Dr. McCoy would have performed surgery on Spock to have them removed. Again, thankfully, this never happened, and the character and Nimoy eventually became iconic for those distinctive ears. Fact number 8. Leonard Nimoy was responsible for the Vulcan salute. The now famous Vulcan salute that Spock first used in Season 2 of the original show has become a mainstay of the franchise, frequently used with the famous catchphrase, "Live long and prosper." Now also a Trekkie salute, it's become a ritual among fans and has had a huge cultural impact on the franchise. What you may not know is that Leonard Nimoy himself was responsible for its inclusion in the show. The salute's popularity has seen it being used across the series, other shows, and films, and is notoriously hard to do given that not everyone has the same manual dexterity. Nimoy, of course, does it perfectly, and it was he who first devised the idea for the character, stating in a 1968 interview with the New York Times that he wanted the Vulcans to be hand-oriented people. Fact number 7. The salute is Jewish. While the salute went on to become synonymous with Star Trek and Spock, it wasn't a fictional gesture and actually has Jewish roots. Leonard Nimoy, who himself is Jewish, would go on to confirm that he got the idea from a time when he once witnessed it during a type of benediction done by Jewish Kohanim, Hebrew priest, and represents the Hebrew letter Shin. Despite its religious underpinnings, thanks to Nimoy, it's now also an international symbol for Star Trek fans everywhere too. It's become iconic, with ardent Trekkies considering it an almost shameful thing to not be able to do it properly. Here's a clip of Nimoy himself retelling the story of its origin. You can check that out at movieweb.com if you're interested. Fact number 6. Spock was originally supposed to look very different. We've already mentioned how close Spock came to not being included in the show. Since his physical appearance became such a contentious issue, there were initially various iterations of the character that did the rounds during the creative processes that went into his design. Had one of the others made the final cut, it would have resulted in a very different Spock than we now know. Gene Roddenberry knew that Spock was going to be an alien, but also insisted that we have a distinctive appearance as well. The idea for the look went through various stages, and while the classic Spock look won the day, in one vision he was originally supposed to have red skin, which would have made for a vastly different character than the one we know. As Me TV explains, he was supposed to have other features like a tail, even more satanic than the ears, and to speak very differently too. Additionally, this devil Spock was designed to have a heavy brow and speak with a British accent. At one point, Roddenberry flirted with the idea of casting a little person in the role to make him stand out. The devil idea was eventually ditched as the network feared the look would not go over well with the religious viewers. Fact number 5. Nimoy was far from the first choice. Nimoy's death in 2015 saddened fans of Star Trek everywhere. He had become so iconic for the role of Spock that his passing was a huge loss for the franchise and fans of sci-fi in general. Having epitomized the character for so long, despite Zachary Quinto proving to be a very able and likable recasting choice when the films were rebooted, it felt like Nimoy had been born for the role. That was why it may surprise people to know that he wasn't the first choice to play the character. The original choice to play Spock was actually DeForest Kelley, who played the original Dr. McCoy instead. In fact, Nimoy wasn't even the second, since Roddenberry considered the 1960s Batman Adam West for the role, and even Nichelle Nichols. In the end, it went to Nimoy, and the rest is sci-fi history. Fact number 4. Spock almost had emotions. Spock has become famous for the fact that he's a Vulcan, and so he has been bred to place logic above emotion. Of course, we all know that he's half human, and famously does often show snippets of emotion in some very poignant ways. Despite the most famous part of Vulcan nature being their cold logic and lack of emotion, the character was originally envisioned to be very different. In fact, he was originally supposed to have emotions. In the original pilot titled The Cage, Spock had a very human-like emotions and even smiled a lot. The image change became a culturally significant part of the character's persona, with his lack of emotion famously being the main reason why the famous character Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory adored the Spock so much. Fact number 3. Full name. Spock's full Vulcan name has been revealed to be Shin Chai Spock. However, in an episode of the show titled The Side of Paradise, he mentions that humans can't pronounce it. While there's been debate around the name provided, the unpronounceable surname has never been convincingly confirmed on screen. Despite all the mystery and fascination around Spock's surname, writer and story editor DC Fontana, who worked on the original show, revealed to Star Trek Fan Magazine that it was meant to be XTMPROSS, RSQZNTWLFD. If you can't pronounce it, that's by design. According to Fontana, it was created to deliberately be something we can't pronounce. Fact number 2, Spock was a ladies' man. While audiences of today may not realize it, William Shatner was once a sex symbol, and the original Star Trek show envisioned his character being the focal point to attract female viewers. However, in an unexpected twist, the original show wound up seeing that honor go to Spock instead. Despite his unusual appearance as the character, the original viewing audience for the show were mostly interested in Spock, especially among women. According to Leonard Nimoy, he would actually get tons of thirst mail from female fans of Spock ever since the show first began broadcasting. Fact number 1, Spock once defeated Wolverine. Given the amount of crossover events between famous comic characters and other franchises, it was only a matter of time before Star Trek crossed paths with famous Marvel or DC characters. When that happened, it made for 2 epic moments when Marvel's X-Men tussled with 2 different Enterprise crews from Star Trek, Captain Kirk's and Captain Picard's. In the comic event, when the X-Men encountered Captain Kirk's crew, Wolverine and the other X-Men managed to get aboard the Enterprise, and the famous mutant gets into fight with Spock. Despite all his superior strength and speed, Wolverine was no match for the Vulcan. In a somewhat hilarious moment, Spock disabled Wolverine by using his famous Vulcan nerve pinch on him. The moment was just one of the many iconic ones the character has experienced over his long and storied history in the franchise. While Leonard Nimoy was the original and will always be the most beloved, Zachary Quinto has grown his own set of fans and will likely return in the upcoming 4th film of the so-called Kelvin timeline. On the other hand, Ethan Peck has proven to be another worthy actor to pick up the mantle since he began portraying Spock in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Despite how many actors play him, it is the character himself who remains immortal, a true legend of the franchise, and one who will always be a fan favorite. Alright, there you have it, another successful Brian Reads the News segment. This one is brought to us again by MovieWeb.com if you want to check it out. Star Trek 10 Facts About Spock You Probably Didn't Know or Forgot. If you like this one, be sure to go up to my channel and hit that subscription button. Here's a look at my channel, real easy to find. There I am, just Brian Kingsbury on YouTube. Go on up there, hit that subscription button, ring that notification bell, and make these videos a regular part of your day. When you ring that notification bell, you'll be notified every time a new video drops. We currently have 1.13 thousand subscribers and 4.6 thousand videos up on the channel. So there's something for everybody to watch up there. Go on up there and take a look at what we got to offer. And if you like this one, be sure to hit that big thumbs up button and give it a like. There's a look at some of the other videos I've been doing recently. We've got stuff, Where Are They Now, Wonder Years, Saved by the Bell, Full House, a look at the best photos in history, 15 facts about James Brown, 10 things you may not know about MLK, 11 things Donald Trump promised to carry out one day one, and all kinds of fun photos. Take a look at some of these videos and give a few a watch. There's a lot of great content up on the channel, and I'm looking to get to 4,000 hours, so if you hit in a few and watch a few, that would greatly help me on my quest to get to that 4,000. Currently sitting at 3,000, so go on up there, watch a few videos, hit that like button, and enjoy the content. I thank you for watching this one to the very end. Again, I'm Brian Kingsbury. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.